An African man becomes the first person to die from Ebola on American soil. I'm Mona Austin with the Slice Report. On Wednesday morning, Thomas Eric Duncan died at a Dallas hospital less than 2 weeks after being diagnosed with Ebola virus. Duncan had traveled from Liberia, West Africa. Hospital officials believe he likely contracted the virus in Liberia while taking a dying neighbor to the hospital in a taxi. Some 3,000 cases of the deadly virus have been reported worldwide. In response to the Ebola outbreak, the White House has called on TSA and Customs to run advanced procedures at airport screening stations. Travelers from the 3 affected West African countries will now be required to have their temperatures checked for fever at 5 major airports, including Washington's Dulles, JFK in New York, Newark Airport, Hartsfield-Jackson International in Atlanta, and Chicago's O'Hare. Those airports are the destination of 94% of passengers from West Africa. By implementing more detailed global traffic safeguards, is America bracing for an Ebola outbreak? White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest says these precautionary measures are intended to prevent and contain the deadly virus, and the risk of an Ebola outbreak in America remains low.
Preventing individuals who are already exhibiting symptoms of Ebola from boarding a plane in the first place is the most effective measure that will counter and has countered the spread of Ebola. As I pointed out before, there are, as I have previously pointed out, there are dozens of people who have been denied boarding because they were exhibiting symptoms consistent with Ebola.
According to the CDC, Ebola is not airborne. It can only be spread by making contact with the bodily fluids of a carrier. A church announcement about a Montgomery, Alabama pastor has some congregants fearing for their lives and has shaken the foundation of the church. One, Demetrius McFarland of Shiloh Baptist Church, admitted he has full-blown AIDS and was sexually involved with multiple women in the church years after knowing his status. McFarland also acknowledged that he has used drugs and mishandled church funds. He led the church for 23 years before being ousted on October 5th. This according to WSFA TV News. The Nicolas Cage reboot of the end-time movie Left Behind got off to a slow start at box offices during the weekend of its release. The faith-based film, taken from Kirk Cameron's series, is intended to be the first in a franchise, but, says The Hollywood Reporter, quote, "The rapture won't come soon enough for the unfortunate souls forced to suffer through Left Behind," end quote. That's just one of many bad reviews on the film. This is the Slice Report. I'm Mona Austin.
Thank God for you being with us on this Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to head to Bristow, Virginia for our slice of entertainment news. And here she is, Mona Austin. Hey, Mona, how you doing?
Hello, Cedric. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. How are you?
I am doing great on today. A lot to talk about in the news headlines. And we've lost a great pioneer in the television industry. And that is, of course, from the movie Coming to America. The man who had that deep voice, the laugh. We call him the Coca-Cola man. Well, how do you pronounce his name? Geoffrey
Holder. You mean the 7-Up man?
Yeah, it's the 7-Up man.
Yes.
Talk about it,
He was the 7-Up man. He was also the gentle giant Punjab in Annie. We saw him in many, many films and on television commercials. Also on stage, he was a dancer. Just a very flexible talent from Hollywood to New York City. I was originally a Jamaican-born talent that came over, and it had an incredible career. So he passed away from complications of pneumonia early this week, and we just wanted to tip our hats off to Geoffrey Holder.
Yes. What else do you have for us today?
Oh, gosh, so much, Cedric. You know, I've been thinking about just a lot of the messaging that's going on out there. And you remember Raven Symone, you know, That's So Raven, and then she was little Olivia on The Cosby Show. Back then she was just so cute and cuddly, but she's grown up to be a woman who seems to want controversy to follow her. She was on Oprah's own network last Sunday, and one of the things she said that just brought about a lot of controversy is that she didn't like categories. We can all give her that, right? Now, a lot of people don't like to be categorized or they like to define themselves. We respect that. But the context she was talking in is that she said that she does not want to be considered African American.
Wow.
So she's gotten a side-eye from a lot of people, including me. Here's my thing. She's from Louisiana. I'm from Louisiana. And we understand African Americans. We don't necessarily know how to trace our roots directly back to a tribe in Africa. But the truth is, all of us came from somewhere, and that somewhere for African American people is Africa. And then being from Louisiana, people have a lot of complexities around color. I'm surprised to hear from her because her mother is a brown-skinned person. And I wonder how her mom feels about that. I mean, the other thing that was just kind of sounded a little crazy to me, she said that she did not want her sexuality to be defined, even though she is in a relationship with a woman, and basically she is gay. And now it's just not my opinion, Cedric. A lot of gays are even saying, if that's what you are, that's what you are. You need to embrace it. But she said that she does not want to be considered gay. She just thinks you should be able to love whomever you want to love.
Wow. I'm going to say this. People have the right to choose how they want to live and everything. But from a Christian standpoint, I'm going to study that word. Okay? And if that's what she wants to do, guess what? Then put it on your Facebook page. Go do somewhere else. But sometimes some people, there's a lot of things that go on that people don't want to hear sometimes. So all I can do is say, we're praying for her. That's all we can do. We say, we're praying for you, Raven.
We're praying for you, Raven. I am with you on that. But speaking of being in a same-sex relationship, as you know, a ruling was the Supreme Court upheld the ruling on same-sex marriage in 5 more states, bringing the number of states that accept same-sex marriage up to over 30. Those states include Virginia, Utah, Oklahoma, Indiana, and Wisconsin. Now, Governor Mike Huckabee is saying that conservatives, if they bend on same-sex marriage, if they bow to the pressure to accept same-sex marriage in these midterm elections, they are going to fold as a party. He said he believes that same-sex marriage will be the straw that broke the camel's back, not literally, but he's saying that it will destroy their party.
Wow.
What do you think about that, Cedric?
That's very interesting. He ran for president. He's from Arkansas, so he's definitely he is definitely a person that's sticking to Christian values. So I want to applaud him for coming out and speaking against that, because a lot of politicians won't do that.
And a lot of them don't do it, but midterm elections are upon us, and that is one of the hot topics. And then another thing is we're in a season now where people are getting afraid, just almost panicking about Ebola. I had an opportunity to sit in on a daily briefing at the White House this week, and White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest was grilled by reporters. We asked lots of questions, and what he's saying is that it is very well contained. Ebola is very well contained here in America. There's some misconceptions out there about how the disease is spread. There's some misconceptions about how many people actually have it.
Yes.
We have already reported in the last segment before this break, in my report, we talked about how Mr. Duncan in Texas, he actually passed away. There's just been a whole lot of controversy around that, and one of the main pieces is who gets to have the medical attention. Mr. Duncan was from Africa, and the CDC said that they sent an email saying to make sure that he got the medicine in the plasma that he was supposed to get. Well, the plasma was not given to Mr. Duncan. It was given to the NBC videographer instead of Mr. Duncan, although the NBC videographer, it was confirmed that he had Ebola after Mr. Duncan. So the question has been raised, is there discrimination because he is not an American citizen? And if in that discriminatory act, for the drugs in the plasma not being administered in due time, is that possibly the cause of his death? So the family has asked for a thorough investigation. The family had been quarantined, which raises the question if it cannot be spread other than by bodily fluid. Why were they quarantined, and those kinds of questions. And so there's a lot of controversy surrounding the passing of Mr. Duncan. You're there, and you know what's going on in Dallas. What are you hearing in your area, Cedric?
A lot of people have been talking about it and very much concerned about it. As a matter of fact, one of the emergency medic technicians who was on site got sick the other day, and now he's been taken to that same hospital, and they're running tests on him and everything. So lots going on. And as a matter of fact, there was a flight that came in from Africa, and there was a loud sneeze on the plane, and everybody turned around and looked at the individual, and he had the audacity to say, well, he kind of teased talking about Ebola. And when they did that, guess what they did? They had people coming on the plane, and they came and took him off the plane and took him in for testing. So you can't joke about this.
No, it's not a laughing matter at all, and America has taken measures to make sure that we safeguard the global traffic system, and that's what we were talking about, is the screenings that will take place at 5 American airports. And the reason for those screenings is to make sure that if you are ill, you don't even get on a plane, and ill specifically with Ebola symptoms, that you don't even board a plane. So it's nothing to play with, and so far, so good here in America. We have no reason to panic, but there's still very much reason to be concerned.
All right. Well, Mona, listen, we're out of time. Well, as always, want to say thank you for your reports. And, of course, we'll continue to update our listeners. I know there's so much to talk about. We didn't get a chance to talk about Erica Campbell and all the award winners at the Dove Awards that took place over the weekend in Nashville. And that's going to be on TV on October the 12th.
Well, actually, can I say something real quick? Just want to congratulate everybody. The Dove Awards were recorded this week. Hillsong United carted off the most wins with 5, including 1 for Oceans, Where My Feet Fail. It's the Song of the Year, and Erica Campbell did get the Dove for Best Traditional Gospel for her work on Little More Jesus as a solo act, and then rapper Andy Mineo took home a few wins as well. For a full list of Dove Award winners, you can find that at the Arlington Christian Music Examiner online, and for the first time, the Dove Awards will air this weekend on TBN, so they've expanded their reach.
All right, TBN, that's good news. And I think I saw Donnie McClurkin. He received a Dove Award, and so did Bishop Hezekiah Walker.
Hezekiah Walker, yeah. There's a lot of great talent won at the Doves this year. They are the award show that recognizes all genres of Christian music. And so check out that list. I'm sure there'll be some winners who are fans of all of them. So congratulations to all of the Dove 2014 Dove Award winners.
All right, Mona Austin hanging out with us on the Cedric Bailey Radio Show. Until the next time, have a blessed day, Mona.
Thank you, Cedric.